Hello and welcome to Friday's Masterclass edition of Cracking the Cryptic. Couldn't remember what day it was then. That's not an auspicious start, is it? Well, we're going to be having a look at the Cryptic, obviously, which today is by Mark Kelmanson and is harder than usual, unsurprisingly for... Oh, goodness, actually, it's really much harder. The Snitch, when I looked at it first thing this morning, the Snitch is this unofficial rating of how difficult the Times crossword is, and it was about 120, which suggests it's sort of 20% harder than average. But looking at this, Magoo is Mark Goodliffe, 13 or 14 Times crossword champion. So Mark is phenomenally good, but Jason James is brilliant, and nearly 9 minutes for Jason, which I think is I don't know, PNMCG might be a real person, but I don't know that acronym or pseudonym. The first two I'm almost certain are typists. Verlaine is definitely real. That's Matthew Marcus, Andrew Fisher, in with 9 minutes 40. I mean, these are phenomenally good, sort of top 10 people. Matthew's won the Times Crossword Championship before, so if the puzzle's taking him 9 minutes, it's clearly got a kick to it, which is great. That's one of the reasons we chose Friday to do these masterclasses, because it tends to be the hardest day of the week. So we'll have a go at this in a moment or two's time. What else can I tell you about for that? I've got a couple of birthdays actually to do in the crossword video today. I will also mention that over on Patreon, we've got Mark's Solve of the Times Club Monthly Special. Now, if you've never looked at the Times Club Monthly Special, it is actually, I might be able to find it here. It is absolutely brutal. Oh, it's never very easy to find because there's only one of them every... oh, there it is. There's only one of them every month. I don't know if you'll be able to see that. Let me just have a quick look. Yeah, actually, that's not far away, is it? That looks pretty good. But this crossword is so ridiculously brutally hard, and Mark attempts it without using a dictionary, and it is well worth a view. I'm always amused to see the comments, which border on the sort of hilarious, because people sort of describe it as a British man putting in random strings of letters into a grid, because the vocabulary used in the Times Club Monthly Special is off the charts. It sort of uses the most dusty corners of the dictionary, and Mark attempts it without a dictionary, which it's pretty incredible, actually. It's one of those things that you almost have to see it to believe it. Even as somebody... I mean, I've been solving the Times crossword for decades. I'm probably not the world's worst solver of it, but even for somebody as experienced as me, it's like, how are you doing that? It just doesn't seem humanly possible, and yet he does. Anyway, that's a video that's over on Patreon right now, and I think if you do enjoy this sort of video and you want to see, wow, let's watch, some magic, you might enjoy that one. Anyway, let me look at my list of birthdays. Tony, over there in Texas. Your mother Janet wrote to me apologetically at 5 p.m. Texas time yesterday, when it was your birthday, to ask you for a shout out yesterday, realizing I think that 5 p.m. Texas time yesterday was definitely later than I was going to be capable of including in yesterday's videos. She was very sorry about that, but suggested that you do watch these masterclass videos on Friday. So Tony, many happy returns for yesterday. I hope you had a great birthday, and I hope the chocolate cake was mighty fine. And then Alex, your friend Grace, wrote to me and told me that the two of you have a sort of daily competition to see how you get on with the Times cryptics. I don't know which of you is the better solver, but I'm amused that there is this sort of competition going on. And Alex, I hope you have a great birthday, as does Grace. Many happy returns. I hope the chocolate cake's icing is, of course, correctly ratioed, 1-to-1 being the correct ratio, in case you were in any doubt. But I think that's everything. Let me just check that the dictionary looks in good shape, doesn't it? So we should be good to go. So let's see what Mark's got. Mark Kelmanson, not Mark Goodliffe, has in store for us. Let us click. It's this one, isn't it? Let's get cracking. Right, 1 across, 8 letters. Grace. I've just said Grace's headdress, Ruth completely defaced. It's not Grace, Alex's friend. Grace's headdress, Ruth completely defaced. Okay. A quick reminder, if you've never seen a cryptic crossword clue before, or you've never had it explained to you how they work, they all have a straight definition of the answer to be entered, so a bit like a quick crossword definition. And then the rest of the clue will be a recipe that tells you how to concoct that string of letters in the answer. So it might say anagram some letters, or it might say put a word inside another word, or it might say reverse a word. There's lots of different forms the recipe can take, but it must be precise. Something that if you're joining us from Minute Cryptic, you might not be used to. Minute Cryptic is this daily clue that we do a short video on, and those clues are quite often imprecise. The recipe part of the clue. Now you'll never get away with that in the Times crossword. The constructor can be as misleading as they like, but they must tell you precisely what to do. Now, unfortunately, having said all that, I don't have a clue what this is. Let me just read it once more. Grace's headdress. I mean, I'm wondering if it could be one of the Graces from Greek mythology. And they all had quite strange names. I can remember some of the fates. Electo was a fate, I think. I can't remember the names of the Graces, which is not going to help me. Headdress. Ruth completely defaced. I mean, the only part of this clue that feels like it could be part of the recipe is this phrase, completely defaced. If you deface a word, what does that mean? So I think we're looking for an 8-letter word that means either grace as in elegance. I should have thought of that. Why would it be elegance? Don't think it is. Headdress. Tiara? Coronet? I don't know. I've no idea what's going on with that one. Grace as in elegance, or grace as in from the Greek mythology. Let's try one down. 4 letters. Addicts bum steer, ignored every so often. Well, this is much easier. So again, test yourselves. Make a decision. Which side of the clue do you think is the straightforward definition? Do you think it's addict? Or do you think it's often, or every so often? If you think it's addict, well done, you're correct. This is a 4-letter word for an addict, and it's one that comes up remarkably often in cryptic crosswords, actually. An addict is a user. If you use a drug, you're addicted to it. So I'm expecting the answer to be user. Now, again, see if you can see why it is user. How does this recipe tell you to find the letters U, S, E, and R in that order? Now, the reason it works, look at the string of letters bum steer. And we're ignoring those letters every so often. Now, if you see phrases like this in a cryptic crossword, it will mean remove the odd-numbered letters, so letters 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, or remove the even number of letters, 2, 4, 6, and 8. And if we remove the odd-numbered letters, the B, the M, the T, etc., we're just left with U, S, E, and R. So that's how that one works. Let's go back to 1 across then. Grace. Grace's headdress. Ruth completely defaced. Grace. I should be able to think of some word, shouldn't I, beginning with U, but I can't. Let's try 10 across then. 9 letters. Former. Let's stop there. If you see the word former in a cryptic crossword clue. Or old, quite often it's signifying X, EX. So could this be X Welsh International? Regularly. See, actually, let's just stop there. Regularly turned out has a very similar recipe meaning to ignored every so often, doesn't it? If you regularly turn out the letters of the word international, that might be saying take, NENT, Nentoa, no, that doesn't look good, or ITR, itrinal is rubbish. Former Welsh international. Well, you might, if you've been watching these videos for a while, you might be familiar with the fact that abbreviations are often used. And you might be saying to yourself, oh, could W be Welsh? Now, I'm not going to check the dictionary because I'm not absolutely certain that it can't be, but I think it can't be. So I'm not expecting this to begin like that. I mean, it doesn't look like a very nice construction anyway. But Welsh International. Another thing just to mention is that in the Times crossword, it didn't used to be acceptable to use proper names or to reference living people unless it was the reigning monarch. But that has changed. So it's not impossible that Welsh International is the name of a Welsh international rugby player or I was going to say cricketer, but Wales don't play cricket, maybe a footballer. Regularly turned out. I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know what that one is either. Let's try 2 down. 465. Consumer guidance from road test. Beef with BSE condemned. Beef with BSE. So that was mad cow disease, wasn't it? Bovine encephalitis or something. Bovine spongiform encephalitis. Consumer guidance, best before dates. That feels right. It feels like I've got the right anagram fodder there. Yeah, I think that's going to work. So, consumer guidance, if that was the definition, best before dates would be valid, wouldn't it? Best before dates are consumer guidance. How does the recipe tell us that this is the answer? Well, it says we create this best before date from, so this from is sort of doing the duty of an equal sign. Consumer guidance equals the letters of road test beef with the letters BSE. Now that does give us 15 letters and we need 15, and those letters are condemned. If you condemn something, you say it's nonsense, don't you, or it's ruined, and so we ruin those letters, we scramble them, and we can create best before dates. So is this umbrella? Umbrella? Ruth Ellis. Who was Ruth Ellis? Was she the first lady or the last lady to be executed for treason? That could be nonsense. I don't know why that's popped into my head. Grace's headdress. Grace. Urbanity? Is urbanity a turban? I quite like that. Ruth. Pity. Oh, I've got it. It's that's difficult. That is difficult. Urbanity. Definitely not one of the Greek graces. Oh, well, this is great, because what this will allow us to do is to go to the dictionary and type in grace, and let me just see if in the full text I see Aglaia. I mean, how am I going to remember that? Aglaia was one of the graces. Let's see if there's another one there that I can't remember. I think there were 3. Oh, well, there were 3. One of the 3 charites or graces. Euphrosyne? Or Euphrosyne? And there should be another one, which is... Oh, I did know Thalia. I should have got that. I did know that Thalia... I said, well, Thalia was a daughter of Zeus, I think. Why do I think that? I don't know, but I think she was. Anyway, I've got waylaid. So we've discovered a bit about the graces, but obviously urbanity is not the name of one of the graces. So how does the recipe part of this clue work? In fact, let's look at the definition first, because it must be reasonably urbanity, the quality of being urbane. If we look up urbane, why isn't it showing me? Maybe it's under urban. Urbane, yes, sorry, it is. Relating to or influenced by a city. Well, that would make sense. Civilized, elegant. An elegant, if you refined, yeah, so if you are urbane, you demonstrate urbanity, you show grace. So it's quite a difficult one, isn't it? Now, how does the recipe work? Headdress. Well, a headdress is a turban. And ruth is capitalized here, but ruth is an old word for pity. If you rue something, I think it must have the same root. You regret it. You're pitiful about it. So, ruth is what I wanted to look up. Ruth. Pity. There it is. So what's happening here, completely defaced, is saying remove the faces of the 2 words you've thought of. One that means headdress, so remove the face, the first letter of the word turban, and remove the first letter of the word that means ruth, which is pity. That will give you urbanity. Put those together, urbanity, which means grace. Now, if you are watching this thinking, that's impossible, well, I sort of have some sympathy. I mean, I only got it, and this is the way crosswords work. I only got it because I had U blank B. I was nowhere with this clue before that. But it is possible to get it once you learn how they work and you have a bit of experience. But I totally accept that is difficult. That's really hard. I'm very tempted to go there. There can't be many, but a but would fit. Let's a bed maybe, actually. So, old president, Democrat, presumably lying in the past. So the surface seems to be all about politics, doesn't it? But I don't think the answer has anything to do with politics. Old president. By the way, if you was looking at the word old and thinking X as we were for this clue, great, that's exactly the sort of thing you should be thinking. But I've done enough of these puzzles to know that old president quite often refers to Abraham Lincoln, who I think was called Abe, colloquially, to his friends. So old president, I think, is going to be Abe. Democrat, we'll look at this now, can be abbreviated to D, and that gives us a bed. And I think if you were, when it says presumably lying in the past, it's not referring to sort of mendacity, it's referring to lying down. If you were lying down in the past, you might have been abed. It's not a word we see very often nowadays, but let's abed, in bed. Democrat. So that abbreviations have to be supported by the dictionary with very, very few exceptions. There we go, Democrat, D. So let me just check that you're seeing the dictionary. Yeah, that's all working okay, I think. So let's look at 3 down. N, we've got 8 letters beginning with N. Currently negative votes over mass cuts. Okay, it's a good clue. And again, it's so helpful to have these letters in the grid. So make your decision. Force yourself to do this because it's such good practice. Do you think that this means currently? Or even currently negative? Probably it doesn't mean that, because I can't think of any sense in which there would be a word that means that. Or the other side of the clue, cuts. Or maybe mass cuts. Now the clue, the way I think that you can have a better idea, if you were guessing, and we all have to basically guess, don't we, which side of the clue is, a word like cuts, that could be used as part of a recipe. If you cut something, you shorten it. Or it could be saying a word cuts into another word. But currently doesn't have any sense of position about it. There is no connotation of the word currently that could be used as part of a recipe. So very likely, I think, we could conclude without really studying the clue very carefully that we are looking for an 8-letter word that means currently. And some of you might now be able to get it if you think about it. Negative votes. If you vote positively, you might say yay. If you vote negatively, you might say nay. So negative votes are probably nays, but if we look at nays there, that does not look auspicious, does it? So how is it working? Well, what about if the nays was around something? And I think it's going to be nowadays. I haven't actually worked out why it's nowadays. I've now got to do that. Yeah, okay. Okay, so how does this work? Negative votes, nays, N-A-Y-S. Over, in cricket scoring. I feel so bad if you're coming to this video cold and you're like, what? If you're preparing your cricket scorecard and somebody's bowled 5 overs, you would write 5-0 dot on your card. So if we look at the dictionary and go to O, oh, not oi, O, we will find here somewhere, I am sure, or I'm pretty certain, I really am pretty certain, oh, no, it should be here. Oh gosh, it wasn't. Really? Well, it is. I mean, it is definitely an acceptable abbreviation that I can't now justify to you, which is terrible. What? I'm really shocked. Maybe it's just in newer dictionaries, but it's definitely acceptable for over to be O. And I'm pretty certain it's from cricket scoring. That's really thrown me, actually. But anyway, that is how it works. And then mass, a mass of something is a wad of it. You had a wad of cash, you'd have a mass of cash, wouldn't you? So we've got nays around O wad. So erstwhile would fit here. Former erstwhile, that must be correct. Cool, that's difficult. That's a brilliant clue. Actually, I just want to mention, nowadays, if we look at the surface reading, if we read the clue, currently negative votes over mass cuts, it's a very natural phrase, isn't it? It really does read well. It doesn't really read as a cryptic crossword clue. And that, I think, is the mark of a very good setter. If you can write these clues such that they don't read like clues, it's very talented. Now this one, again, former Welsh international, regularly turned out. Can you see why it is erstwhile? It's not easy. But we are sort of using the same technique we used in that other clue. The way this works is former is defining the word erstwhile. Welsh is the letters W, E, L, S and H, which you can see are in the word erstwhile. International, regularly turned out, it is saying take regularly occurring letters. Now, we need a T, don't we? We need an I, so it must be IT. In fact, what? How is the alternation? Because what we're doing is we're going to take the word. Hang on. I just want to make sure I'm not misleading you here. ITER. IT. Regularly turned out. Oh, no. Okay, I've totally misled you. Right. Okay, so the way the anagram fodder works here, it was Welsh, WELSH. International is actually I, which it can be, I think. It's not an abbreviation we see very often. There, international. And then regularly turned is looking at the word turned and taking the regularly occurring letters in that, this time the odd numbered letters, T, R, E. And then those letters, W, E, L, S, H, I, plus T, R, E, are all out. They are out of order. They are anagrammed, and that gives us erstwhile. Very clever, and not terribly easy. 4 down, 5 letters, beginning with T. One who takes unlimited throws in paper round. One who takes Okay, I've got an idea as to what this is, but I don't know how it works yet. So remember what we have to do. We're going to look at first the start of the clue, then the end of the clue, and we're going to try and make a decision about which side is likely to be the definition. Now, here I think the trick is going to be, where do you cut the clue between the definition and the recipe? Because it's quite easy to read this clue, one who takes unlimited throws, and think, oh, am I trying to think of somebody who sort of tosses a ball in an unlimited way, a bowler or something? No. What about if we cut it after the word takes? One who takes. Well, somebody who takes your things is a thief. So I suspect this is the answer. I don't know why it's the answer yet, so this is what we're going to have to work out. Unlimited throws in paper is going to be the FT. In paper round, you can see FT. So in paper round is giving you the instruction to reverse the initials of the newspaper, the FT, so we get TF, and put those round unlimited throws. Shies. The word shies, SHIES. That would be throws. And if we unlimit the word shies, we remove the first and last letter, we're just left with HIE, which gives us the fodder we're putting in our reversal of FT. So again, it's a really great clue, but not brilliantly easy. I love it. Let's look at 9 across. Beginning with F. No, not 9 across, 13 across, 9 letters, beginning with F. Herald's warning for something. Warning to rustle. Okay, I don't know which Russell. That capital R. Is it Bertrand Russell? I'm trying to think who else it could be. Warning to rustle. Heralds. A warning in golf, if you shout 4, you're giving a warning, aren't you? So it feels like this begins with 4. So to herald is to forecast, it's to forewarn, it's to foretell, it's to I just need a 5-letter word, please. To heaven forfend, to herald, I'm forbearing. Oh, I don't know, I can't think of it. To rustle. Russell Grant? Russell Brand? It can't be these people. It can't be. Russell Crowe? I'm going mad. I don't know. But I think it's 4 something. Should we try? Let's try 5 across. 4-2. English Queen and King pressed by conceited young man in rally. Yes. Okay. This is tricky. And the way I've solved this is by thinking about what English Queen might be. You might think Queen Anne, but the Queen who is most associated with cryptic crosswords is our former Queen, Queen Elizabeth II. And the reason that she was so beloved of crossword setters and solvers is her sort of initials, Elizabeth Regina, ER, appear all the time. It's such a useful digraph, isn't it? Digraph, I think, is the right word. Sort of a 2-letter. Maybe it's not quite right actually, or digram perhaps. No, diagram doesn't seem to exist. I thought it did. Anyway, ER is obviously very often used in the English language. So English Queen here. It's quite interesting what the word English is doing, because I think if it just said Queen and King, this clue would still have worked. So English Queen, I think, is giving us ER. Oh, well, no, actually, okay, I changed my mind. I've changed my mind about how this is intended to be parsed. English can be E, I think. Oh, well, no, it can. I know it can. English, there we go, E. So English is E. Queen, as I've sort of hinted at, Queen in Latin is Regina. King in Latin is Rex. And if we look under R in the dictionary, oh, I've just moved my dictionary. I hope that hasn't moved it on your. No, it's somehow it knows that I didn't want to move it on your screens. But if we go to the dictionary and look at R here, Regina, Queen, Rex, King. So English Queen and King is giving ERR, I think. No, ER. No, hang on. No, it's not. It's giving ERK because although it's true to say that King can be abbreviated to R via Rex, King in chess scoring is, if you were to notate where the King went to A8. It would be KA8. So King can also be abbreviated to K. So actually English Queen and King here is giving this series of letters. And they are pressed, so they're sort of squashed in by a 3-letter word for a conceited young man. That's hard, but actually, if we pass this correctly, we know we're looking for a phrase 4-2 that means rally. If your health rallies, you perk up. And a pup is, I think, a conceited young man. Let's have a look at that. I'm not changing my answer, so pup. literally there, a conceited young man, a pup. So per cup, got some unusual letters actually, haven't we? We've got K's and B's and W's. Could be looking at a pangram. But let's keep going. Let's look at 6 down. 6 letters, beginning with E. Fake fivers, a Cigani checks or something. I don't know how to say that. But I do know the answer to this. In fact, if I now think it's definitely a pangram, because there's normally one or more of these in every Times crossword, and it's the clues you always look for when you first get into cryptic crosswords. These are clues where the answer is literally spelt out in the clue. Now, if there is such a clue, the constructor can't just hide the answer in the clue and expect you to spot it. The constructor has to tell you that they've hidden the answer in the clue. So here what we're going to do is we're going to cut the clue after the word fake. So we're looking for a 6-letter word which means fake. Now, this word checks, what could that mean? If something checks something, it sort of constrains it. And so that's the sense in which we need to read this, because the letters fivers a Cigani, if that's how you say that, are checking, they are restraining within them the answer. It is spelt out E-R-S-A-T-Z, asats, which is one of these peculiar words that I only know from crosswords that means fake. A substitute, a supplementary reserve from which waste can be made good in the military. Substitute or fake as an adjective. So, and there, look, we've got a Z now. So we should be on the lookout, I think, for Q's and J's. Let's have a look at 7 down. 7-8. Blow joint cash in weekend on vacation abroad. I want that to be knuckle sandwich. Could it be? I think it is knuckle sandwich. Blow joint cash in weekend on vacation abroad. It's another brilliant surface. Now, here, if we cut the clue after the word blow, a blow as in a punch is colloquially a knuckle sandwich. Something I'm sure that none of us are familiar with watching this video, but a knuckle sandwich. So how is the recipe giving us knuckle sandwich? Well, a joint on your hand is a knuckle. Knuckle is an example of a joint, isn't it? But then the rest of the clue is lovely. Cash in weekend on vacation. Well, if you vacate the word weekend, it would lose its middle, wouldn't it? It would lose its heart if it's vacated. It loses its contents. So that just gives the word weekend becomes W and D, its first and last letter. And cash in WD, if those letters are abroad, if they're sent on a journey, they are anagrammed. And if you anagram cash in WD, I think you can create sandwich. So I'm pretty sure knuckle sandwich is correct. Actually, I've just remembered something. I think I might be wrong in what I'm about to say, but I think I have done a Mark Kelmanson puzzle before, which had the most astonishing grid I've ever seen in a broadsheet newspaper. Because it was something like, and I might even be doing it a disservice, but it was something like a quintuple pangram, i.e. a normal grid like this, but it had 5 of every single letter in the alphabet. Now, I cannot tell you how ludicrous that is to create that. I'd love to remember where that puzzle appeared. I don't think it was in the Times. I want to say it was in the Independent or something. I'm not sure, but I've got that in my mind. I've got it in my mind that it was a monk puzzle, which I think is Mark's pseudonym. Anyway, why am I saying this? Well, I've just noticed that this one's got 2 Ks, it's got 2 Ws. So is it possible we've got a double pangram attempt? I mean, it's so hard to do these. A pangram is pretty difficult. A double pangram is incredibly difficult. A triple pangram I've probably seen 1 or 2 in my life, and I've only seen one puzzle ever that was this. I think it was a quintuple pangram. Anyway, can we get this now? 13 across. Herald. 4 token? Ken Russell. Wasn't he a film director? Yeah, wow. So a herald. Yeah, so the way this works is 4 is the warning. The word 2 is literally going straight into the answer. And then it's Ken Russell. So for token must be a word for a herald. I mean, I'm not changing it, so I'm going to look it up. Never heard that word before in my life. For token. A token or a sign beforehand. That sounds like a herald. Let's just see if we can get 11 across. 5 letters. I know what I want this to be just from the word apparatus. Yes, okay. Youngster breaks small piece of aerial apparatus. Now, I don't know actually why my brain has gone to this answer, but apparatus is sort of something you use for a task, isn't it? So I think this is scuba. And I think the way it works is we've got a 3-letter word for a youngster, a cub. That's breaking into small, which can be abbreviated to S, and a piece of the word aerial, which is the letter A. Now let's talk a bit about this in terms of convention. What's acceptable and what isn't? Firstly, if I was to look up S in my dictionary, I would not find that it's a valid dictionary abbreviation of the word small. This is it's the best example I can think of an abbreviation that is accepted in the Times but not supported by the dictionary. And the reason it's accepted is the dictionary hasn't really caught up. Because if we all go shopping, we know that if we see S on a clothes label or L, everyone understands what that means. S would be small, L would be large, M would be medium. And so these abbreviations are accepted by the Times, even though the dictionary doesn't say that they are valid abbreviations. So small can be S. Piece of aerial. Why is that the letter A and not, say, the letter E or the letter R or the letter I or the letter L? When you see this piece of aerial, it will always mean the first letter by convention. So don't worry. If you see something like that, always be looking at the first letter. Don't think about the rest of it. So let's have a look at this. Plain chant would work. 8 letters. No, 8 down, 10 letters. Suitors showing clear disputes. It's plain. Oh, yes, lovely. Suitors makes it sound like somebody wooing someone romantically. But a suitor, I imagine, is somebody who could bring a suit in a court of law. Now, who might bring a suit in a court of law? It would be a plaintiff. Now, let's see. Double F there. So suitors showing clear. If something is clear, it is plain. And disputes, tiffs, little arguments. So plaintiffs is going to go in there. What's this? So 17 across is 4 letters ending in I. Property paper, withdrawn for the most part. Yeah, okay. See, I don't think this is that easy. A clue. It's only easy because we have that eye. Where do you think the cut is in the clue? Now, this phrase, for the most part, that could clearly be suggesting, okay, we think of a word and we take the most part of the word, we take most of it. So that could be part of the recipe. The word property, that doesn't really feel like it could be indicating the position of something or anything like that. So property is very likely to be the definition. That doesn't make this clue very easy, but it gives us a chance. Because a property, as in a piece of property, might be a semi-detached house, and you might describe a semi-detached house as just a semi. And I think that's the answer. How does the wordplay work? How does the recipe work? The paper, I think, is the Times. So the Times has been withdrawn, so it becomes SEMIT, and we take most of that string of letters, so we just take SEMI to give us our answer. Now, we've done okay at the top. Should we try this? 50-50 would work. Shared 50-50. What could now be £2? 50-50. Sorry. Shared. So shared is clearly defining 50-50. What could now be £2? Well, how does that work? I don't understand. I mean, 50. If you had a 50p and then another 50p, you'd have £1. Why would you have £2? Shared. What could now be £2? I don't know. There's something clever going on there, and I don't know how to read it so that it works. 50-50. It's not thinking about pounds of weight, is it, rather than pounds of money? 50-50. I don't know. That's really annoying me because I know there's something clever going on. I just can't see what it is, and I'm sure the answer's right. If something's shared, it's 50-50. You go halves on it, don't you? What could now be £2? I'm baffled by that. I've now got absolutely zillions of F's in the grid. Like really a lot of F's. Let's try 9 down, which is 8 letters. We've got a few of them, but nothing terribly interesting. American spin mostly defends, e.g. circumstantially awarded degree. American spin mostly. Defends, e.g. circumstantially awarded degree. What? There's a lot going on there. Oh. No, I was about to say in pool. I've watched pool on television, the game that's a bit like snooker. And when they put spin on the ball, they often call it English, don't they? American spin. Mostly defends. E.g. Oh. Okay, I don't know what this is, but what we could be looking at, if I knew what this word was for American spin, that would be helpful. And we'd take most of that word, and that would defend, so it would cosset, it would surround EG, and that could go there. And then the definition would be circumstantially awarded degree. Circumstantially awarded degree. American spin. So the American spin would be blank R, blank T, blank, 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 because we're taking most of it. American spin. I hope, I've got a horrible feeling American might be A here, and this is a word I don't know, beginning AE. Spin mostly. Rotation. Rotary. Egrator. AEGR. ITO. No, hang on. OT. No. Egro. No. Spin. Rotate. Oh, egrotat. That is a word. That is a word. I have no idea. Well, it's obviously some sort of degree, but I have seen that word before. Egrotat. Right. So this is American is A. That's a valid abbreviation. So spin is to rotate. We take most of rotate. And surround EG, defend EG with that, and then I'm very confident this is right in terms of it's a word, and if it's a word, it must be correct. Egrotat, archaic. In universities, a medical certificate of illness or a degree granted when illness has prevented the taking of exams, etc. Wow. Circumstantially awarded degree. So due to your circumstances, you get the degree anyway. That's I'm pleased to solve that. Frankly, that was hidden away in the dark corners of my memory. Let's have a look at 20 across. Better half, spouse. I'm thinking 6-4. Part of game introduced by gambler's spouse. Okay. Part of a game, we played the second half or the first half. So if part of a game is a half, a gambler, we introduce the word half. We precede it with a word for a gambler. A gambler is somebody who bets, a better, and a better half is your spouse. So probably we're helped a lot by having the checking letters there. We still haven't had a J or a Q. Let's have a look at 14 down. Fan, fuss, following, a heartless lie, a lot of alliteration. Fan, aficionado would work. I bet that's right. Aficionado. Let's spell aficionado. I'm never very good at spelling aficionado. I think it's like that. Fiction, that's got in it. Right, fan, yes, okay. So fan is an aficionado. Fuss is an ado. Much ado about nothing, much fuss about nothing. Following, so our word ado follows A, that's that letter there, A, and a heartless lie is the word fiction without its central letter, and that gives us fiction. So aficionado is the answer. Let's try this one. 19 across, 4 letters. Check dog bite at the very least. Curb? Yeah, okay. I think that's curb. Why? If you curb someone's activities, you check them, you stop them from doing something. A dog, a cur is a word for a dog. Let's look at that. It comes up quite a lot, actually. Cur is also a rogue. Scoundrel, there we go, but a worthless dog. And then bite at the very least is take the very least part of the word bite, the first letter, which is B. Again, by convention, I don't think you could ever use at the very least here to describe taking the T of the word bite. It's always going to be just take the first letter. Let's have a look at this one. Icebergs would fit. 16 down, 8 letters. Impracticality of documents attached to hacked emails. What a brilliant surface. Impracticality of documents. Yeah, okay. Right. Have you got it? If you haven't got it, have you had thoughts about what it might mean? Here we're looking for an 8-letter word for an impracticality. And that's created out of documents. Now, if you're asked to show your documents, what does that mean? You're asked often to show your identification, your ID. And we're going to attach our ID to hacked emails. So we're going to hack the letters. We're going to hack at. Literally, this isn't saying hack as in, do the computer form of hacking. It's saying hack as in get a machete and hack the letters into different places. And if we do that, we can create idealism. And impracticality and idealism have the same meaning, don't they? Things that are ideals rather than practical things. Now let's try this one. 22 across, 9 letters. Lost power, dividing parties in opposition with member of secret society. Oddfellow? Probably is that, but I don't know why. Lost power, fell. I suppose if you fell, you lost power. You fell from power. Dividing parties in opposition. I don't know what's going on here. Parties in... Oh, that's lovely. With. Wow! Beautiful clue. So, lost power. If you fell from power, you lost your power. That divides parties in opposition. Now, why does that give ODDO? Well, if you have a party, you have a do. And so you take two parties and you put them in opposition to one another. So we reverse the first one and put it with the second one. And that gives us ODDO. And then with here can be abbreviated to W. That's one of the strange abbreviations, which is definitely in the dictionary. There we go. With. And then a member of secret society, an oddfellow. I don't actually know much about oddfellows. I'm not one myself. A member of a secret benevolent society called the Independent Order of Oddfellows. There we go. I should be a member of the Oddfellows, really. It would be a very fitting society for me to be a part of. But anyway, let's move swiftly on. Let's have a look at 23 down. Beginning with W, 5 letters. Women's present question. Okay. What do you think this is? Hopefully, you're at least considering whether women could be abbreviated to W. And I think it can be, although I'm a little bit surprised. I'm trying to think of the context. I suppose Women's Institute might be the WI. But anyway, I think that's how it works. I think women can be abbreviated to W. If you're present at something, you are here. And that forms a word where, which is a word for a question. It's a type of question, isn't it? So let's just check W and women. Oh, And, okay, we didn't look at this earlier, but Welsh is there. And women. All women's with an apostrophe S. For some reason, I don't see the W abbreviation very often. Now, where should we go? We've actually got a lot of letters that look like they might be helpful here. Shall we go for, let's go, I don't know. Let's go for 24 across. 4 letters. Considerable case for theory about primitive instincts. Okay. So, if you're new to the puzzle and you're still watching this video, thank you. Let's think about the phrase case for theory. If we're thinking about that as being part of the recipe, it's the middle part of the clue, so it's very unlikely to be the definition. What might that be? Case for theory. And as we get a visit from Maverick, what it's saying is to take the case of the word theory. What's the case of a word? Well, it's sort of, it's the edges of the word, the case of it. So the T and the Y. So the case for theory is T and Y, and we put those about primitive instincts. Well, I think in psychotherapy, the id is your primitive instincts. I think that's some sort of Freud concept. Let's have a look. Id. It's definitely in here somewhere. A fish, the id and the id, they come up, so be aware of those. In psychoanalytic theory, one of the 3 parts of the personality, being the unconscious mass of primitive energies from which come instincts for the gratification of basic desires for food, sex, etc., and the avoidance of pain, modified by the ego and the superego. Okay, it doesn't say anything about Freud, but anyway, that's what that is. And then why is tidy defining considerable? If you had a considerable sum of money, you might describe it as a tidy sum. So that's good. Let's try 27 now. 5-4, beginning with S. Line of males runs through plan, failing to reach conclusion. I want this to be something line. Oh no, it can't be something line. It's got line in the clue. Line of males runs through plan, failing to reach conclusion. I don't know what that is. I mean, I'm trying to think of words for plan that could be put around something, because running through a word for plan that has been shortened because it's failed to reach its conclusion. So plan might be scheme, but that's got an H in it. And I don't think I can put it here. To plan is to... Just not seeing it. And if that parsing of the clue is correct, then this is a phrase that means line. I don't know. Let's try 18 down then. That's poor. I think I should be able to get that one. 18 down is 8 letters. Brief analysis. Oh, thinking of a crit. Raised Yorkshire River standards criteria. Yeah. So, I mean, actually, I think that's a lucky solve in a way. So a brief analysis. If you were to write a critical review of something, it would be an analysis of it. And a crit, I think, is just a shortened word for such an analysis. So I'm not changing it. So again, I'll look it up. I think it will be there just as a word. Yeah, short for criticism. So crit, and then raised Yorkshire River. One of the rivers in Yorkshire is the Aire, the A-I-R-E. That's reversed. It's raised. This is a down clue. So the word raised can indicate a reversal. It wouldn't be able to in an across clue. And then standards are criteria. So what's this? Spear or sheer? Line of males. Runs through spears. Don't know, actually. Still don't know what that is. Right, let's look at this one. 8 letters, 29 across. Aloof, as must a barefaced Poirot have been. Okay. I've got this one. What's Hercule Poirot known for, apart from being a famous detective? Isn't he known for his little moustache? What's an even littler name for a moustache? It would be a tache. So if Poirot was barefaced, he would be detached. And if I say the word detached slightly differently, I could say it as detached. And if I'm aloof, I act in a detached manner. So that's really nice, isn't it? The question mark there is to indicate that this is being very playful with language. And it is, but in a delightful way. Once you get it, it makes you smile. So I fully approve of that one. Now, let's see if we can get 25 down, which would very much help me with 27 across. 4 letters. Old hat. Olid? Olid is a word. I think it means like odious. Stovepipe finally packed away by old man. No, okay, so it's nothing to do with that. Right. So stovepipe finally. What could that mean? I think pretty clearly it's saying take the final letter of the word stovepipe. Well, that's E. And that's packed away by old man. Now, colloquially, my old man would refer to your father. Can we think of any short words for father? Dad. So if I put E in the word dad, I get dead. And if something is old hat, it's sort of dead, isn't it? It's past its time. So that's going to be right. Now, unfortunately, that gave me an E in this one, which is just about the worst letter it could have given me. Line of males runs through plan, failing to reach conclusion. Of males. What is this talking about? Runs through plan. What's this male line of males? Don't know. No idea what that is. I mean, hopefully I will have an idea once I think about it more or for longer. But rather distressingly, given I've got all the checking letters, I just don't know what that is. Line of males. It couldn't be a sports reference, could it? Like a line out in rugby, or runs through plan. If you plan something, I can only think of scheme now, or map, or strategize, or to plan is to prepare. Line. Yeah, what's the definition in this clue? Is it line? And if it's line or line of males, what? I don't know. Okay, I'm just gonna vegetate or cogitate on that one. Probably both those things at the same time. Let's have a look at 26 across. 5 letters, beginning with A. Agent, ditching, lead, performer. Okay, that's much more straightforward. And looking at the letters, we've got A blank, T blank blank. Hopefully you're thinking of performer, actor. Why is it actor? Well, an agent in something is a factor in it, and that ditches its lead letter, so drops the F, one of the few clues that doesn't involve an F in its answer. Let's go for this one. Onside would fit. Performing well. Northern lads cracking, try from the back. Okay. So, if you try something, you have a go at it, don't you? A try is a go. So try from the back is saying reverse the word go. And then northern is N. A lad is a son. And we put N, son, it cracks. So it's in the middle of a reversal of try. And if something is on song, it is, if you're on song, you're performing well. So again, I mean, I don't know how hard that clue is, because I just think if you are experienced at cryptic crosswords, that's almost a write-in. But if you're not, it might be impossible. I don't know. I'd be interested to see the comments on a clue like that. Now, we should be able to have a good go at this without even looking at the clue, shouldn't we? Neuron would fit. Let's see. 6 letters. PM involved in event that's on track. PM involved in event that's on track. I'm really worried that I didn't. I keep thinking of Macron now, who's. No, well, it's just not the right answer. It doesn't fit. PM involved in event. PM is sort of afternoon as well as obviously a prime minister. Involved in event that's on track. What's a track? Is it a run? Involved in event that's on track. And if it is the name of a prime minister, well, then I should be able to get it almost instantly. And I'm disgusted with myself for not immediately being able to write it in. I'm not seeing if it's the name of a prime minister, though. Maybe it's not an English or a British prime minister. What? No, I don't think it is a British prime minister. PM involved in event that's on track. Wow. I'm just checking the crossing entries are correct. I think they're correct. I don't think we are. I don't think we are in Pangram world, are we? We definitely haven't had any Qs, and I don't think I can put a Q in to either of these final answers, or a J for that matter. PM involved in event that's on track. Well, okay. I don't know what that one is. Let's go back to this one and hope that my brain works on the other one. 5-4. Line of mails runs through plan, failing to reach conclusion. Line of mails runs through. If you run someone through, you stab them, you spear them. So spears. Oh, an idea. Spear side? Line of mails? I quite like idea for plan, and that not ending. runs through. Now, could there be another word other than spear, though, for to run somebody through? It might not mean run through as in stabs or spears. It might mean run through as in sort of to go over again. Line of males, the spear side. I have never heard of that. Which could well mean it's just I'm just speaking or talking gibberish. Runs through. Steers. Let me look at my keyboard. What could that second letter be? H? Shears? Swears? Line. I mean, it seems to be saying that the answer is spear side. I have never heard of that. Runs through, spears, idea failing to reach a conclusion. Shall we look it up? Let's look it up. I won't change it. Please be right. Spear side. There, look at that. The male side or line of descent is the opposite to the spindle side or the distaff side. I'd never heard of that either. Gosh. I mean, it's great, isn't it? I mean, that's something I should have known. I just didn't. But at least we got it, and that's the great thing about cryptic crosswords. You might not know the word or the phrase, but it gives you two chances. So we've just got to get this one. So the PM, involved in an event that's on track. Oh, I really want this to be run. That's an event that you could have on the track. But then this really doesn't look like a very nice sequence, does it? Involved in event on track. PM. I mean, have I forgotten the name of a British Prime Minister? Involved in event that's on track. And what could track be? If you track somebody, you hunt them. A track can be a railway. RY. I mean, I have thought of that. But I just don't. That feels wrong. Involved in event that's on track. No, I think I'm going to have to just come up with this. And that's worrying. So what do we think this first letter is? And there are a lot of options, many of which look quite interesting. Kirin, that's something. I don't think it's spelt that way. Isn't Kirin an event that's on a track? Oh, hang on. That is right. It's okay. Wow. It is Kirin. I think it's spelt like that. There's an event in the Winter Olympics, I think, called the Kirin. Oh, no. It's cycling, isn't it? Isn't the Kirin... Oh, gosh, I'm getting very... In cycling, in the velodrome, isn't there a Kirin in that? Is that spelt like that? I have no idea. But if it was, PM, I think, is Keir Starmer. Involved in... If you're involved in something, you're in it. And then an event that's on the track, on the cycling track, would be a Kirin. I think that's going to be right. Wow. This clue also is there's a bit of a controversy involving Keir Starmer at the moment, so it might be a good thing that this this crossword appeared today. Let's just see if this is right, and then we'll look up this word. Ah, it is right. That's good. So Kirin, it is cycling. An 8-lap track cycling event in which riders follow a motorcycle pacer for the first 50, or what's that say, 5.5 laps? Is that what that's meant to say? Yeah, sprinting the remaining 2.5 laps. Look, the formatting has gone totally awry after the motorcycle has pulled off the track. Also, the Kirin with an EN ending. So that would have worked there. So we did have to justify this finish of IN being involved in rather than EN, because that would have been a valid fill for the grid. It's a great puzzle, that. A great puzzle with loads. I mean, the vocabulary is fantastic. Oh, and I still don't understand the 50-50 one. Shared what could now be £2. No, I don't know what that is. So I look forward to the comments to enlighten me. But in order to keep the video down to a sensible length, although it's probably not a sensible length, how long have we been going so far? A long time. I will just quickly have a go, hopefully, at this puzzle and try and do justice. By Teasel, support letters after appointment. Letters after appointment. I don't know. Some robes evidently far too heavy. Obese. It's just a hidden. Reptiles huge nuisance for cat. Tortoise shell? Probably. Tortoise shell. So support. Let post. Letters. I think, yes, that's a quadruple definition. More enthusiastic. Man painting, that is right. More enthusiastic. It's going to end like that. Man painting. He art heartier. God, this is not easy so far. Splashed front of Parker in river mud. Splashed. I don't know. Birds wrangle with noisy arguments. Don't know. A rugby player's apropos. I can do that one. New form of an incinerator following refurbishments. An anagram. New form. Refurbishment. Reincarceration or something. Why candle almost out in Irish town is Wicklow. Ultimately unsuited to cycling, one walked as a dog, free to take another contract. Release. Degenerate American going to pot. No idea. Oh, we should be able to get this one. What's this? Terrible war starts. A GP's to seek desperate salvation. To seek grasp at straws. Charlie, no, winner is going to be loser. Closer, not so far behind. Closer. Friend beginning to recover after earth tremor. That looks like an anagram. It's going, oh, why can't I just do it, you silly man? I can't see it. Rather, no. Pheasant, for example, unable to walk properly. Game. Beloved park in holy surroundings. Methodists' awful news about destruction of Yale. Wesleyan? I think it is. Crazy star taking time to make a comeback. Don't know. What's that one? Oh, this is the degenerate. American going to pot. Degenerate. Aristocrat turning up conceals title. That's a reversal hidden. Almost strange name for band. Eerie? No. Weird? No, don't know. Perfect. Climbing over base of Everest. Go up. Don't know. Gosh. Birds wrangle with noisy arguments. Sparrows. Creep along inch. In 2 months, boil, decoct. Very good clue. Splashed front of part, spilt. River mud. Stilt, yeah. New form. Re-in. New form. Re-in something. Preserved vegetables for cheeky child. Preserved vegetables. Peas. Cheeky child. Pickle? Pickle. I think it is pickle. Reincarcerate or something. Following refurbish. A new form. Reincarnation. You silly man. You silly, silly man. Crazy star. Nuts. Sun. That's difficult. Perfect. Climbing over. Go up. Aloft or something? No, I don't know. Oh. I thought this was an anagram of Earth at the start of this. Trend. ER. I don't know, maybe it's not. Following shake, Quaker. Oh, it's Quaker, it's religious. Now my keyboard sent me up. It's Quaker. This is not pangram, is it? Go up. Exalt? No. Almost strange name for a band. Queen. Beloved. Park Wreck. In holy. Beloved. Precious. Pious. Erupt. Pure. Yeah. Atrophy. Yeah. And that is the answer. Wow, that was hard. That was a great puzzle. I hope I didn't make any typos. No, I didn't. Terrible time. But frankly, I didn't find that very easy. There was quite a lot of opportunities to have to think. And I took those opportunities. And yeah, even if I hadn't been speaking, I don't think I'd have been desperately quicker. Look at that marks. I mean, Chloe Hutton, under 3 minutes on that puzzle. That is very impressive, I think. That's really just humbling, isn't it? Although the times are slower than usual. Because normally you see somebody coming in close to 2 minutes on the quick cryptic. Believe it or not, I mean, it is mad, but this is the world we live in. Anyway, thank you so much. If you're still watching now, really do appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please do consider it. It really, really helps to get these videos, especially, which YouTube doesn't like. YouTube likes our Sudoku videos more than our crossword videos, which I think is a shame, because both puzzles are, in my opinion at least, incredibly worthy and really rather wonderful. So anything you can do to help us to spread the word about these beautiful cryptic crosswords, we would appreciate. And yeah, we'll be back later. Let me know how your own solving's going, and we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.